Hello and welcome to My 11th Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur. We're extremely happy here. India, of course, put into bat. Now, we're super happy because our My 11th Circle expert couch has finally seen the light of day after so many days, and it has happened because of the infinite forward-looking capabilities, the crystal ball of Mr. Zaheer Khan. Predicted right with 335, he said India would score with the 10-run give. You're well within that. कैसा लग रहा है आपको? How you feel?
Thanks to his analysis.
That's true.
It's a road which they're playing on, right?
That's right.
Okay, on the road, if you don't get to 335, then there's something wrong.
Yes.
And Indian batting actually did exactly that. You know, they took advantage of the conditions. The start, which was very vital in today's match, especially when you're one down, you need that start, isn't it, to get going.
Yeah.
After that toss, which India lost, I think there were some concerns. Maybe Australian bowlers will carry forward the similar kind of intent and intensity, but wicket didn't really allow.
The wicket didn't. It was the wicket said my way or the highway. This is the highway, and the highway is my way when you're an Indian batsman. And did it play like you said? Did it stop grip later? In the beginning, it definitely was like parking lot.
Yeah, it was like parking lot. And it didn't grip as much. I mean, I thought when the ball gets a little older, maybe Stark would be able to get some sort of reverse swing. But it didn't seem like that.
Because the last 10, you got 91 runs.
And I think that's really been the difference. I mean, when you look at the scorecard, you might look at Shikhar Dhawan, of course, played well, and Virat Kohli played his part. But to get to the difference between, you would have been, say, 310, 3 or 340, and it's a huge difference, is what KL Rahul and, the team did right at the end. Look at that, 91. The stark difference is, it's like, normally if you just keep accelerating slowly, and that's different. But here you were going around at 6 and over, and suddenly the last 10 overs, you've lost 3 wickets. It's not that, you've had a partnership and that's just taken it away. KL Rahul was just fabulous today. I think I haven't seen him play better than what he's played today.
Yeah, so that means he's number 5 now?
That's GK's favorite topic.
No, so
I'm like, why is this happening to poor KL Rahul?
So I'll tell you one more thing.
Yeah.
If what number is doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If this is his best knock, he didn't get out.
Correct.
I mean, he got himself run out at the end. So he had so much more left in him.
Correct.
Which, just justifies my, whole, my
think that the best players...
No, I'm the fan that I am of this man this is why I am. I mean, he gets out and, like everybody else, but he makes the most of it most of the time, whether it's 2020 cricket, whether it's the IPL, whether it's, at this level, or even starting from his second test match when he played in Australia. First test match was horrible, he played a bad shot, but he carried on, and when he got a big 100.
Yeah.
And that's a sign of a good player, and I always... I go with players who, on their good days, make their day count.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what he's done. I think if India goes on to win this game, it'll be his knock. And I don't know how they give man of the matches, but they might look at 96 and say, "Arey yaar, iske kam hai."
But this impact, you definitely say, when it gets scored as well.
Because it's a more difficult time to score. You've just walked in, and then you've got to hit at that stage. And everybody else has scored at 5.5, 6 and over for 40 overs of the game. And then you have these guys at the end who are scoring at 9. So it's 50% more runs.
Is it fair to say that when you're opening, or if you're 1, 2, 3, you can still be proactive in terms of how you're playing? Whereas if you come after the 25th, 30th over, you pretty much have to be reactive.
Yeah.
You have to. You don't set the tone.
And I think
set for you.
And that is what probably I always felt with KL Rahul till today. Yeah. If you look at his career, that when he's active, when he goes in there and he has to set the pace of the game, he's more comfortable.
Yeah.
Today is the first time that you'll see him, I mean, at least I have seen or realized that, that he's also okay to, be reactive and figure out, okay, this is what's required. He was batting with, Kohli when he walked in. Kohli was, holding the innings. He had to move on with the game. So he started attacking. Then at the end, he played a reversal role when it was required. He just played magnificently. And it's not easy out there to go and play last 50 balls of an innings and get to an 80-odd score.
Especially with KL Rahul. I think if you look back at 10 of his matches, you'll see him at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's pretty much been everywhere in the last 10 matches alone. But the fact is, he's a solid player. And today he's proven it. Doesn't matter where you send him out to bat. He's going to get those runs. He's going to play reactively. So he's added another bow, actually, to his string. No, another string to his bow. That's a bow, not a bow. Also take a bow, Shikhar Dhawan. 96 is what he scored Virat Kohli got runs as well. Well, if you're going to get 340, obviously a lot of your players are going to get runs. Let's have a look at Shikhar first. 96, and Zach, we spoke about this in the com box. He'll be... any other player you'd say he'll be kicking himself for not getting his 100. With Shikhar is befikar. He'll be smiling. He's happy at the 96 he got, not at the 100 he didn't.
I think he was laughing because he knew that the kind of form he has showed in this innings, that ball he should have definitely put it away.
Yeah.
I think he was baffled by that fact that, how can I get out to this kind of a delivery more than anything, more than the disappointment of not scoring that 100. But look, I think he's again after his comeback now. These kind of runs and these kind of innings really take that pressure off. Like when you go to the third ODI, you'll see a different Shikhar. You'll see a more relaxed Shikhar. You'll see that he will be back to his aggressive self. So far he's been conservative, and to be fair to him, when you're not in the international game time rhythm, you will take that much time. So if you look at the T20 innings of his and the first ODI innings, it was indication of those sort. But I think now you'll see that him more relaxed, more at peace, and looking to be aggressive in the next innings as well.
In the last, by the way, in the third ODI, he's going to be getting 110 because the arithmetic progression of him after his comeback has been sort of 30, 50, 70, 90. So he's going to get 110 in the next one.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, right. And today you are Mr. Crystal Ball.
Blindly on that.
It's Mr. Crystal Ball today. Yeah.
Well, it's not fair. You didn't let me sit on 3. Why can't 2 of us ever call the same number?
Please, 2 of you can sit on the chair if you want.
You can call
Go ahead.
He wanted to. He wanted to call 330.
Always follow the wise man.
Yeah, you wanted to call 335. So you also have a right on this. So I have one of 2 options for you. You guys can choose. One, of course, is that we'll split it, right? By that I don't mean we'll cut the chair into 2. Means later, no. Later in the show or maybe in the post show, we'll let Ajay sit on it. Or option 2 is right now you can go sit in his lap, or you both can figure out to sit on the same chair.
I think I'll take option 3.
Option 3.
I'll sit on it.
What is option 3?
I'll take it home and sit on it tomorrow.
Sit on it tomorrow on the off day. Just in your hotel room. Like Shakal. Sitting like Mogambo in his chair. Okay, well, how dangerous is this 340? Looking at this surface now, you look at 340 in a one-day international and you say, all right, that's safe. But you look at the Australian batting attack, you look at this surface, and the fact that the Australian openers, when it comes to playing against India, and we're going to show you some numbers there, because the way the Australian openers have done against India, they've just been, look at it, when in India. Now, compared to other visiting teams that obviously have some trouble when they come here, they don't get that average. Just look at the difference in average, right? Other teams are struggling to get an opening partnership of 30. These guys are getting 80, right? No 100-run partnership with other visiting teams, 38 innings, whereas these guys got a 258 unbeaten opening partnership just a few days ago. So without a doubt, the first thing that the Indian bowlers are looking at is, we got to get one of these 2, if not both, right? I mean, uske aage bhi there's Labuschagne and Steve Smith, but we'll get to that in a second. Right now, you're looking at Finch and Warner up front, and you're going, boss, we got to have solid plans to get.
That's the template of success, isn't it?
Yeah.
In this format, you always talk about if you're a bowling team, you think of taking that first wicket. If you're a batting team, you think of having that start, setting that platform. And when you look at Indian team also, today they got to 340. How they got to 340? Because they had that start.
Yeah.
So Australia is one of the few teams who have been doing consistently in our conditions as well, whilst they've been visiting India, and that has been their success mantra. So any team will be under pressure if they don't. Any bowling unit will be under pressure if they don't get that early wicket.
Yeah.
So I think from India's point of view, it's straightforward. They have to think wickets and they have to find that way of setting that tone.
That's right. Don't think defensive just because you've got 340 doesn't mean.
And it just kind of simplifies things. I'm just going back to the first ODI again.
Yeah.
When Australian bowling team did well, the batting team invariably does well. So I think you'll see a similar kind of story here with the Indian bowling attack as well. When your team has scored 340, your tail is up.
Yeah.
Right, you are taking that momentum from your batting innings into the bowling innings, and that's something which will be the case today as well.
Yeah.
So for Australia, they have to push that extra hard to change that, because right now in Australian dressing room, if you go, you'll feel that little bit of doubt, little bit of bowlers not really
Shoulders drooping.
Yeah, so that's something which is always there. So we talk about momentum of the game. This is the momentum of the game. So we'll have to see now that how Australian batters actually, Finch and Warner, what kind of approach they walk in with.
Yeah.
Are they continuing with the similar kind of approach what they showed in Mumbai with dominating because their bowling had a good day, or are they going to now walk in and say that, okay, let's just focus on the start because it's a big score? That's the change in mindset which changes the game, and that's the interesting part which I'm looking forward to see now in the next half.
255 and 340, there's a huge delta between those two. And Australia, of course, chasing. Talking about the bowlers, why would they have droopy shoulders? Well, let's have a look at the bowling analysis of all of them. Some big names in there, right? But going for runs, and today they were bound to. Adam Zampa, of course, would be happy because he got that Virat Kohli wicket again. So, well, that's... yeah, so that's Adam Zampa 2, VK 0 in this series. He did manage to get that wicket. But Ajay, again, talking about the openers, we're also talking about Aaron Finch, and we just said those numbers of how they've got all these opening partnerships. And Aaron Finch has been the star of majority of those opening partnerships. He loves batting in India. He gets batting in India. And as you pointed out in the Combox, he gets this even more because he's got home ground advantage in Rajkot. Having played for Gujarat Lions right, a couple of seasons ago. Home ground.
Home ground, plus I think he's one of the finest players of spin bowling around the world. Yeah. You ask spinners around the world and they fear Aaron Finch as much as they would fear somebody who bats later in the order. And that list that you showed between Australian openers versus rest of the world openers, the stark difference that I found in that is the other openers have also got to 50 scores.
Yeah.
They've got a decent start.
No hundreds.
So, but there you, on the other side, when you go, it's like 400-run partnerships. And why does that happen? That happens because when they get to those spinners, they get to the spinners dominating, and they get there dominating. So the spinners come on to bowl almost in a defensive mode, and then because they are so good against spin, that's why probably they can actually do that. And Aaron Finch is the key. David Warner's attacking player, but Aaron Finch, I've seen that with most spinners. Any batsman who can actually be standing in his crease and then be whacking you straight down the ground is a batsman that they always worry about, because he's blocking, or he's not trying to do anything. But within his crease, he still stands there and hits you straight down the ground. And that's his strength. And that is why Australia probably does better in these partnerships, because everybody may get off with Bumrah and somebody and get to 60, 70. Then the spinners come on and, they tend to take a wicket, and that's what probably the stats show. But that doesn't happen against Australia that often. And the reason for that is because the bowlers don't come on, when they come on to bowl, if they haven't lost a wicket for the first 50, 60, or 70 runs, they are dominating the game at that stage. So the spinners have to be on the back foot, and that's why we probably don't take wickets there.
Yeah,
that's the strength of Aaron Finch, that when he comes into bat. Yes, of course, he's a local man for all of us who played for Gujarat Lions.
Yeah.
But it's the spin bowling
that he juices
and the ability that he can strike a spinner.
Yeah.
See, once you take the big six hitting out of any batsman and put him against a spinner, it's almost 50% of the game gone.
Yeah.
So, once the bowler knows that you're not going to hit him for a six straight down the ground, he has more bowling or more balls that he can bowl. Once he's worried about being hit for sixes, then suddenly the whole length changes, the bounce changes, and the whole game changes. I think the Australians do that to Indian bowlers, and that's why we're probably not as successful as them.
Remember,
against them, sorry.
The India's playing the five. There's no sixth option because in the top six, there's not one Indian who bowls. So, which means your bowling is straight up there, the right part of the page. That's your bowlers. It's 5 into 10 with no options. You don't have a Manas Labuschagne who can give you a couple of overs, a Captain Aaron Finch who can bowl one of the overs.
You have Rohit Sharma who can roll his arm over.
Well, I mean,
he hasn't done that for a long time now. Yeah, but I mean, if needed, I'm sure there must be some kind of discussion that if some injury concern is there.
Because
or the captain himself, Virat Kohli. What about Virat Kohli? He has a wicket or two.
And I'm with him.
That's true. I wish. Listen, the thing is, if they could, that would be great because options are always a good thing. And Zach, I keep going back to the team that you played in. You guys were amazing because with Sachin and Saurav and Suresh Raina and UV, you had so many options of actually bowlers who could come in and, just sort of mix things up in that middle phase a bit. And that's always an advantage, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is an advantage, but you don't have to always go for those kind of bowlers, right?
Yeah.
Or you cannot pick your playing 11 based on that.
Absolutely.
So obviously you always go for that first discipline.
Yeah.
In this team, unfortunately, they don't have that luxury.
Yeah.
But if need be, we hope that that
there is no such need.
Yeah, there is no such need.
Yeah.
But I think that Labuschagne, 1 or 2 kind of overs, if you want to look at it, the options are available there.
I wish. That would be good.
And I think that's something that the team needs to work on. I'm surprised, in the modern day cricket, even if you don't do it, you've got to come and it's like few years ago, if you were not a good enough fielder, it chalta tha.
Yeah.
But, you have to become a good fielder now.
Correct.
So like how you've set standards for Indian cricket, I'm surprised to see that guys who used to bowl, or, whether it's Rohit Sharma or Virat Kohli, because there are certain conditions that kind of bowling also works. Surprised to see that guys who used to bowl also have stopped bowling.
Yeah, maybe they don't enjoy it. Like, see, for example, your habit is also bad because you played with Sachin Tendulkar, who loved bowling. He loved bowling, didn't he?
But a lot of people didn't enjoy fielding, but they still have to. So, I mean, if you're looking to improve on your side, you've given up on food, you've given up on, partying, which is an important part of your life at age 18, 20. You're giving up on many things. So, you're striving to be the best. That surprises me. This is one of those topics or one of those things that Indian team is not even thought of or not worked on, because we keep repeating this, there's only 5 bowler, nobody to bowl, nobody. Yeah, but if there's nobody to bowl, then somebody has to start bowling.
But you and Sachin there was a time we used to bowl 5 overs.
Oh, don't talk about my best bowler ever,
Yeah, you?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
No, because look, if you go on to...
What pleasure are you getting?
He's getting it. I'm getting pleasure looking at him. He's enjoying it. Let him have his moments back. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah,
you're not the only opening bowler on this panel, okay?
Yeah, I've opened bowling.
There you go.
Bowling pleasure. See, it's like for every batsman, the pleasure is when bowling happens.
Yeah.
So, my best bowling I remember at one time was in Sharjah. Saurav Ganguly dropped that catch. Otherwise, I would have had a hat-trick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got 2 of 2 balls. Next ball, he dropped a catch and it went for 2. So I had 3 for 3. That was my bowling effort. Have you watched it on?
Yeah, of course I have. And Dada, in fact, it was crazy that Dada was flashing right behind you on the screen, saying 3 times.
Dada ka wada.
Dada ka wada 3 times.
What was Dada ka wada that time? Because he fulfills his wada.
Just as you were saying hat trick, Dada was saying 3 times. It was like, Dada, इनका तो 3 times होने नहीं दिया आपने.
अरे वो इनको भी नहीं जीतने देंगे जो बाकी कोशिश कर रहे हैं. दादा से नहीं जीत सकते आप.
Yeah, देखेंगे होएगा कोई आज. Somebody will win.
But बाकी सब ठीक है. Bowling जो करते थे उनको करते रहना चाहिए. Even if Rohit Sharma doesn't enjoy his bowling, it is duty of that coach or the captain to make sure that he bowls in the net.
A few comes out.
Because might need those 2 overs, like he said. Labuschagne ने 2 ओवर डाले, ऐसा थोड़ी को Shane Warne आ गया है. But it just breaks the pattern. Sometimes you want to break that pattern to change something, and they will be useful. So how is it that the team is not working towards it?
Yep, well, fair point. Okay, there's another thing when we're talking about Dada. We're going to talk about the BCCI and the contracts that have come up yesterday. And of course, there have been a lot of talking points about that. One of them, of course, has been that you'll go through all these names and you'll say, where is my MS Dhoni? Where is my Dhoni? Well, we don't know. We don't know at all. There's some additions in grade A. You've got KL Rahul. Of course, there was in grade A, there was MS Dhoni last time. Remember, on the left is this year, the right is last year. The green is the guys who've come in. The red who's the green is the guys who've been elevated, of course, and the red is the guys who have not made the cut, so to speak. All right, so here's the question. A lot has been made about, either of you can take this, a lot has been made about, MS Dhoni's not got a contract, but well, it's really simple. He's not playing any of the 3 formats, so people shouldn't read too much into it, right?
Absolutely, I think you put it out there that way, right? If had MS been there, I think there would have been more questions asked.
Yeah.
Because he has not played since World Cup. So that is something I'm sure must have taken into consideration. He has not played much of cricket since the contract dates are always confusing. When are those dates?
It's from 3 months ago.
Yeah,
it's from October.
So we are in Jan.
Yeah.
And it's already been what, 4 months, 5 months. So that, I think, one thing I would like to see change. Apart from that, it's pretty standard process. There are not many surprises in terms of elevation or demotion of sorts. Indian team has had a decent run in the last couple of years. So and a similar kind of players has been part of that. So there was not many surprises or changes were expected. It's just the guy who has not played cricket for a while now. So he's not got the contract.
And I think the thing is that they announced it in January, which is enforced retrospectively from October. So Zach does have a point. Why don't they just say it in October? Last year it was announced in March, pretty much 6 months after. It's almost like let's watch them for a while and then it's like it's an ice cream shop. I'm going to have a few taste testers and then I'll get the scoop. You should just announce it for the next year, right? Like doing it 6 months into it is a bit... I mean, you look at it and you go, none of the cricketers today with their IPL salaries, with their sponsorships, etc. I doubt if any of them are counting on it too much. But the fact is that they should not reduce, BCCI should not reduce the value of this. The players should look forward to it and it should come out. It's like any other job. If you know your salary before you start working.
I think I totally agree with what you say. And just to add to that is, I think for the ones that it really matters, whether it's the amount of money, or the other thing is like when you're in that contract, you believe that you have a chance to play for
That's right. You're in the scheme of things.
Now you look at, say, somebody like Dinesh Karthik and say, oh, he feels that, oh, I have no chance. You know, no, one, I've not been picked for a while and now I'm not even in the central contract. So I think that is another thing because a lot of players who are in the fringe, whether it's the young players who are coming through or guys who've, not had a good time, say somebody like Khalil, I'm wondering what he probably thinks. He thinks, oh, I've got enough chances. I'm not going to get a chance this year. So it might demoralize one. About the financial part, it's about, you turn up, say with Mahendra Singh Dhoni, you haven't turned up, so why is somebody going to pay you?
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with what Mahendra Singh Dhoni's quality is or players. So with BCCI contracts, I mean, it's difficult to understand. 6 months later, I think they're underpaid. They should be, there was a time where the whole Cricketers Association had got together and I think when they were playing. And it was all about paying 13% of the revenue. And now I don't even think they get 1.3% of the revenue.
Yeah.
So it's a topic that the players' representative that players have now will have to come up with. But surely with Zach on that if there is a date that you've put on, you've got to, make a call then. You can't wait for somebody not to do well or somebody to do well to come into this segment. Because if it was announced in October, you would have not had, Shardul Thakur was not in the side in October. He wasn't in the contract system for the last 2 years.
And Khalil was around at the time, I think.
So maybe he would have not made it. But so it's like somebody benefits when there is any decision that's made, but somebody loses out on it as well.
Yeah.
So mark a date, whichever date, whether it's the financial year of the the tax paying or 1st April or whichever call that you want to make. But look into it. And another thing they must look into it is what was promised to the players in the past, that what percentage of money that BCCI makes will go to the players. And I don't think we are anywhere close to it.
Yeah, wouldn't be. I mean, you wouldn't be because if you look
just
at
because the money has gone up doesn't mean you change that.
Yeah.
But I think, the players' representatives are who they are and they're not making a noise. They've not talked about it. And, I'm certainly not getting, neither is he. But if it's due to the players of today's time, they should be looked after. I'm not saying that the money is not enough. We are blessed to have played this sport. When you're playing this sport, you being paid for it is good enough.
Yes, I don't think what you're saying is... I don't think you're being ungrateful about the figure. I think you're saying what's fair is fair, right?
No, I don't know what is fair. I'm saying there was a period, because I clearly remember there was a period where, there were players representative of those times who would talk to the board and try to, find a solution. Because there'll always be somebody who's going to pay you or somebody who's going to receive the money.
Yeah.
On our both sides, we always feel, there's being unfair to. But you agree to a certain thing. And once you've agreed to it, then I think you must stick to it. But I think it's been years now. And so people are carrying on with it. Just because the numbers of money, the money amount has gone up so much that people think, oh, why should now we give them 13%? It's still that percentage. If the money has gone up, it's thanks to the players like Virat.
It's the players who are generating it for you.
No,
right? I mean,
yes, of course, they're
players.
No, players get to play for BCCI. BCCI has to spend a lot of money. They do a lot of work behind the scenes, which a lot of us don't see. But I'm still saying it's only still 13%. You still got 87%.
Yeah.
At least I am 100% sure. You look at the money that's been spread out over the last 4 years between the legal fees and the players who played for India. the legal fees is probably larger than what you paid the players who played for India.
That is true.
So, people make up stories at times and forget overnight and move on to the next story.
Yeah.
But I'm 100% sure, I'm not good with numbers, but it won't be far. The legal fees paid in whatever number of years that you pick, and the money that you paid to the players who represent you, domestic as well, because part of it was supposed to go to domestic players as well, is a lot less than what legal fees has been paid.
I've done some back of envelope math in my head, and you're right. When you total up all the players and all the contracts, it's about 30 to 35% of what the legal fees has been for last year. Figures are available online. You can go and check it out yourself. They're all fairly. I'm not giving you any secrets. Yeah, they're all online, so you can check all of them, and you'll come to about 30, 35. I don't have a pen. I don't have a calculator, but that's what I've come to. But anyway, moving on now.
Who's got the crystal ball then?
Huh?
Who's got the crystal ball?
I don't see. I have the crystal calculator. I can do what has happened. You can see what will happen. So now you have to tell us what will happen. Will Australia get to 341? Will they stutter? Will they get close? Or is it just a walkover? What's it going to be?
I think it will be an interesting game. There's no doubt about it. There will be a good competition for sure. If Indian bowlers get that first wicket early, then I think it will be a easy ride for Indian team to win this. In either case, I think India has got better chance of winning this match. It will not be easy for Australia to win this match for sure. We'll have to see. Finch, I think, is going to hold the key, because he's someone who can really put spinners under pressure in that middle overs. So I think from India's point of view, they'll have to get Finch as early as possible.
Finch as early as possible, but if you have a look down that batting order, you can just have a quick look. They are actually normally at 7. You'd have perhaps, and I know they're counting Ashton Agar as an all-rounder in terms of batting ability. He's definitely no Marcus Stoinis, right? He's a bowling all-rounder. Glenn Maxwell has played at 7. He's definitely not that. Then you have Pat Cummins, Mitchell Starc. All of them can swing the bat around, but you're actually playing your proper batsman a 6. If you look at Australia. So they're really backing the ability of their 6 right now.
Yeah, and that's what generally you would expect. I mean, if the top 6 can't do it, invariably at, these high total scores, unless, the last guys need to put on 40 together in last 4 overs. That's possible, 10 and over. But the last 4 guys that you mentioned after Carey, if they need to put on, say, even 80 in 10 overs, that's a struggle for them to get to. And 340 is a score, big score, and I'm with him. I think it's the wickets at the top that will decide. I don't see it as a close battle. India should win it. That's the way I see it. But if it doesn't happen, then you won't even get to Carey.
Ooh, well said, yeah. You're saying if they get to 340, they're going to get it with 2 wickets down, right? 2 or 3 wickets down. Yeah. It's not getting up till.
Don't forget, it's on a highway.
Right.
The highway doesn't have traffics and there's no difference. Either you get there or there's a jam, then you're done with it. So it's either like that. So either you get there before Carey, or if you don't get there, then I doubt that.
Then you don't get there even till Limdi.
Yeah, then you stay at Limdi, go, and there is a nice, what's it called? Amrapali or something. I have a nice chai there. Gathiyas, as soon as you get to Kathiawad, you start getting fafadas and gathiyas and jalebi.
Yeah.
So enjoy that. Yeah. And ask Australia, we'll see you in
Bangalore. That's right, you will. Well, for Australia, is there going to be a highway to heaven or a highway to hell? 341 is what they need to get. You've heard it from us. Now, of course, it's up to them. You will hear from us. Remember that all highways have pit stops. And your first pit stop is going to be at the end of the 15th over when we come back for the Cricbuzz Combox. Of course, that one is going to be exclusively with Zaheer Khan and Ajay Jadeja. They're going to be here with that Combox.
Lovely.
Come on. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be nice.
That'd
be nice.
Done. Bol diya to bol diya. It has been committed. From me, Gaurav Kapur, from Zaheer Khan, Ajay Jadeja. Thank you so much for watching My 11th Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. We're going to see you shortly. And then, of course, we're going to see you at Cricbuzz Live after India wins the match. Bol diya to bol diya.